2014. I am going through some of the best movies for every single year that I have been alive. And in the year 2014, I was 24.
Will's doing it.
And I know this is not every movie that came out in 2014. These are just some of my favorites, so anything I may have missed, please leave it down below. Let's start 2014 off with a really, really good one, NightCrawler. This was a movie that I just think about all the time. Jake Gyllenhaal is so good. He slimmed down for this role. He plays it so, a matter of fact. The way this character he plays does it is he, gets really, really into, the facts and what he's deserved. He goes in, he's like, I deserve this, I deserve this. I get the story, you do it. This is my plan. This is, he comes in with, a very, confidence that he brings. And then to get the story, he may do some things that are questionable. Just incredible acting job. He does so much. It's a very LA kind of movie. There's a lot of running around LA. If you're familiar with it, I'm not really. I'm a New York guy, so I really don't know LA that well, but it seems like it's a very LA movie. And him going around and catching the scoops and getting the stories and all this different stuff, and pretty much ambulance chasing a little bit. And he just does some really questionable things that you're just like, whoa, but he just wants to be he has this false sense of hubris that he's like, I deserve to be the number one, this, or whatever he decides he wants to do. And he just has that, I deserve this because I am great. And he just plays it. Jake Gyllenhaal is just incredible. So good. Next up, we have John Wick. The first John Wick. I'm a fan of John Wick. I'm not a fan of all of them. I think this one is my favorite because of where it started and just keeping it simple. They've gotten now into more the Society of the Assassins and all these gold coins and all this kind of lore they've kind of built up. I liked kind of the simpleness of the first one where he's like, you killed my dog after my wife died and I'm just going to get revenge. And that was it. But then obviously they kind of continue the series. Keanu Reeves is incredible. Obviously he's Keanu Reeves. The choreography is great. This is all built with stuntmen. I think the director's a stuntman, so he knows the world and all the gunplay. Just everything he does is just really, really cool. And this kind of set the bar for a lot of new action movies that came out afterwards. A lot of them now are trying to be John Wick, which is funny. It's there's always these touchstone kind of movies that kind of set the tone, and people have to kind of top it or kind of just try to emulate that thing because people loved it so much. But the first John Wick's my favorite. People love the crazier ones, like the fourth one that he falls downstairs for, 100 years. It's fun. It's silly. It's great. But I still like the purity of the first one. Next over, we're going to check in what the MCU's been doing. And they have this year was Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This was the movie that was kind of a departure from the normal MCU kind of style movies, where this one was really the spy movie. There was, who's a double agent, who's on the good side, who's on the bad side. And then those things switch. Who can you trust? Who can't be trusted? It's really, really well done. And obviously we get introduced to the Winter Soldier, which Bucky, his friend from back in the day, who's been doing a lot of bad stuff over the years. And he's still, in play now. He's going to be in Thunderbolts. Sebastian Stan, always doing good stuff. But it's just a really, really cool, different thing that the MCU decided to do, making a really cool, almost like 007 kind of, spy thriller where, I don't know who to trust, all this type of stuff. And of course, Chris Evans is great. Scarlett Johansson is great. It's one of the top, I think, of the MCU movies. They just did something different and that really paid off. Speaking of espionage, next up we have Kingsman. I'm a huge Taron Egerton fan. Every time I see him in something, I'm like, this guy, it just has that it factor that I gravitate to. I absolutely loved him in the Rocket Man, the Elton John movie. One of my favorite biopic musicals. They do such a good job. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Kingsman. I love the different take on a spy story. He, is kind of guy from the streets. He's not the posh kind of spies they usually employ, but he does a great job and a really cool way of doing the trials and trying to weed out the ones that are not pure of heart, like our boy Eggsy. And they do a lot of things with fun gadgets and all this different stuff that really, and they wear the dapper suits. Everyone looks so good and crisp and clean, and they're proper gentlemen. Colin Firth is in this, and he has the incredible church scene. Samuel L. Jackson is a villain with a weird lisp for some reason, but it's very also Bond villainy, where he's I just want the whole world to, be at my mercy. And he just does a fun job. Don't love the list, but that's just me. But the church scene that Colin Firth just goes off, and they have an insane like oneer with a whole bunch of hidden cuts and just incredible action all the way through. Definitely a fun movie. Next up, we have one of my favorite comedies, What We Do in the Shadows. I love this movie. They've made it into a TV show, which I've also been a huge fan of. But this is the original movie it was from. You have all this kind of deadpan. It's Taika Waititi. It's Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. There's all these people that are just very very dry humor, but they're vampires. They all live in a house together, and it's like just the trials and tribulation of trying to get along with your vampire roommates. And it's like mockumentary style. It's just so fun, and just I love this their New Zealand kind of dry humor that I've just been a huge fan of. A bunch of Fly the Conchords stuff, all this stuff for so many years. That this movie was really, really fun, and I'm so happy when they made it into a TV show, and the TV show is great too. Back to the MCU. This is the year that Guardians of the Galaxy came out, the first one. This was just something fun that Marvel did, where it was Guardians of the Galaxy was not a well-known property. It was not like a Iron Man or a Captain America or a Thor or Spider-Man or anybody. This was kind of like a ragtag team that they had in the comics that you would never think a living tree, a raccoon, a lady who was green. All these different things would even kind of work on screen. But they got a great cast. Chris Pratt's Chris Pratt. You have Bradley Cooper voicing the raccoon. You have Vin Diesel being Groot, and he's just great. And even though he says one thing, you know what he's saying every time. You know the feeling through it. I am Groot. But they managed to get this ragtag group of people. It was a great origin movie of them coming together, and obviously it got the heart. It had everything, and they're the only built from there. Even the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which was more recently, really, really great movie. It had the heart. It kept it going. James Gunn knows how to direct a team up, fun, silly space movie. And speaking of space movie, segue of the year, Interstellar came out this year as well. This movie I did not see when it came out. I think I would have really enjoyed it on the big screen because it's one of those Christopher Nolan heady visual masterpieces. I didn't see it in theaters. The first time I watched this was on a plane. Probably not the best place to watch it, but very interesting concepts. Very you think about it too much, your brain might hurt. They built complex scientific experiments to show the visualization of some of those black hole things, where the the ring around the black hole and stuff. They did science to make the movie look quote unquote correct, by theoretical physics standard, which is kind of melts your brain a little bit. Matthew McConaughey doing a great job. Anne Hathaway, she's there. And just all the stuff that this movie has, where it's time warpy, timey-wimey, all this stuff, so fun, so interesting, and I just absolutely love it. I won't spoil the ending, but it's not my favorite, where it's a little too cutesy, but that's just me. But otherwise, time dilation, all this different stuff, super interesting. 2014, really solid year of movies. If you like this, I have a playlist going of all the movies from 1990 all the way up to today. If you please could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Follow me on Letterboxd. I post a bunch of reviews on there. I hope you like watching these because I really enjoy making them. What was your favorite movie of 2014? Let me know down below. Have a good one, everybody.